Okay, and we're live. All right, awesome. So, I just did a video where I was showing somebody I was teaching her how to do a body scan on herself. So, this is something that's really simple to do, so I figured I would just do like a whole video on this. This has also given me an idea for another self-paced course that I have been wanting to put together, and I think it's time. And it's going to be in relation to being an empath and how to heal from the ex-narcissist as an empath and as a magical, mystical person, okay, to put it in perspective. So that's gonna be the next course I'm gonna work on. I can't overwhelm myself because I'm already doing a course right now. The course I'm doing right now, if you're interested, is how to be a bad bitch after leaving the narcissist. That is, the title says it all. And that is in the works right now. I'm doing it. I'm going to be filming some more of that today. That's going to be a video self-paced course. I have one other video self-paced course and then a couple of like written ones that you read through. But this one's going to be video because there's so much I have to say that there's no way I could write it out. It would take me forever. It would take me weeks to put it together for y'all. And I don't want to wait weeks for that because I'm anxious and I want to get it out. So it's going to be videos. But this video is going to be about how to do energetic body scans on yourself to see where there's holes in your etheric fields, and that is definitely a way that narcissistic energy or any kind of negative energy can get into you and start feeding off you and mess shit up for you. So I'm gonna go into that more later, but basically this is how I do my body scans. So it's good to do it when your mind is clear as it can be, or at least when you're a little bit relaxed. Don't do it when you're freaking out, when you're upset, or when you've got a stressful day ahead of you and you're already starting to worry about it. I wouldn't do it then. I would do it when you're in a clear mind, like maybe first thing in the morning when you wake up, or late at night when you're going to bed and your brain is starting to wind down. You can do it that way. If you have had an argument recently in your home, or you've had somebody in there you didn't like, or whatever, something has gone wrong, or the energy in the room just doesn't feel good for one reason or another, I would highly suggest cracking a window or cracking a door if you can, and cleansing the room. I know everybody talks about sage, whatever. I use Palo Santo because I prefer that. Sage is fine, and I like that stuff too, but I have Palo Santo and I just love the smell of that stuff, and I love the stick, just like waving the stick around. I just like that. So that's what I use. But if you need to cleanse the room before you do this, I would highly suggest that. Also, if you want to start out just to get your brain right, if you are freaking out, or you are worried about something, or you're not feeling good, or you're not in a good mood, and you want to do your body scan in that moment anyway, I would suggest listening, pulling up some hertz tones from YouTube, the different frequencies and stuff, and pick a tone that suits how you want to feel. You want to do DNA repair, which would be a really good one. You want to do, anything, whatever it is. You want to work on healing your throat chakra or something like that. Just whatever it is that you're in the mood for that you need to do, or whatever it is that you're doing that day that's worrying you, or something you need to tackle and you need to prepare for it. Look up something, a hertz tone for that kind of thing, and play that, and just lay down, close your eyes, play it. If you have earbuds, even better, because they'll go straight into your ears, right? And lay there for a few minutes and let it just really permeate you and calm your ass down, and let it calm you down, and let it just take over. Let the tones take over. A lot of spirituality, and people don't realize this, but a lot of spirituality is surrendering yourself to stuff, and surrendering yourself to what needs to be. And I'm going to write that down because that's a good video. I got to write it down because I will forget, I swear to God. And I'm not going to go back and watch my videos because I don't like how my voice sounds, and I don't want to go back and listen to it. So if I think of something, I got to write it down right away because I'm not going back to find out what I said. So, that's it. So when you are listening to the hertz tones, you let it take over, and you surrender to it, and you just let it permeate your body. You let it flood your body. If you want, you can assign a color in your mind to that hertz tone and let that color fill your body as well, if that helps to visualize it, because the more you visualize it, the more real you make it. Your subconscious mind is going to assume it's real anyway because it's seeing it in there. So let it happen like that. Do you know what I mean? You can really do yourself a lot of favors by visualizing shit. And people don't realize that until they start to do it. And as you do it more, you'll get better at it. If you're not good at visualizing, do little baby steps and do little snippets of things. You don't have to overwhelm yourself with a whole ass story in your head. Do you know what I mean? Visualize little things. Practice with your imagination. Visualizing, another way to do that is if you listen to stuff instead of watching videos. When you watch a lot of videos or you watch a lot of TV, your brain is getting the images from something and your brain's not having to do the work. That's the difference between people who watch a lot of TV versus people who read books. People who read books have amazing imaginations because they're reading something and their brain is doing the work to put the images together in their head so they can see what's happening. Do you see what I mean? So that's a good way. Reading stuff or listening to stuff, listening to audiobooks, whatever, is a good way to learn how to visualize shit. And once you start getting that down, you can start doing it for yourself and you'll be able to basically start healing yourself. So with the body scan, once you've, if need be, once you've cleansed the room and once you've brought yourself back down to earth a little bit, you can calm down, get your mind right. And you can stand or sit for this. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair or whatever and you can only sit, you can do this in a chair. It's fine. You don't have to use your arm. I just do this because it's just out of habit. But you're going to imagine a line. This is just how I do it. But you would imagine a line, a horizontal line like this. And it just like a scan, just like in the movies, you know what I mean? And it just goes down your body like this. And you're going to trust yourself here. This is a very good self-trust exercise. You're going to trust yourself here. And as the line is traveling down your body straight like that, anything that you feel is not right or might be a hole or a vacancy or a void of some kind or a tear or anything that doesn't feel good or anything that feels sluggish or anything that feels clogged up, you name it, whatever, it'll come to you. And you may not even be able to put words to it, and sometimes you can't, and that's okay too. It doesn't mean it's not there, it just means you can't describe it. So you don't have to be perfect with this. Body scans are simple and something anybody can do. So as you are scanning and you come to a spot, let's say, and it doesn't have to be in a certain chakra or whatever, it can be anywhere, all around you. Your etheric field, you've got like 7 layers, and they go out like 10 feet. So don't worry about chakras and shit like that. You know, don't apply rules here, especially if you're a beginner. Just let this happen naturally. Let it come to you and trust yourself with this, because you can do this. Anybody can do this. And as you come to a spot, let's say you get down to your chest, for example, and you've been feeling depression lately, and it's real bad. Like, for example, I don't say this a lot, but my depression gets like really bad. And I try not to act like it. I try not to act like it, but mine, when I go down, bro, I go down. I go down. So, I understand that. More than I'll probably ever get on here and talk about, but I do understand it. So let's say that's how you're feeling, and that, for a lot of people, including me, is a heaviness and a sludge feeling in the chest cavity, right? And let's say if you've been feeling depressed lately and it's, you know, starting to take over, and you get to your chest and you feel that sludgy feeling or a hole, like a void, whatever you want to, whatever it is for you. Let's say it's a hole, okay? And you don't even know what it's from. You don't even know why you're sad. You just know it's hitting you hard like a wrecking ball. You get to that hole. You are going to keep your hand there. And you don't have to necessarily touch your body, especially if you're doing this on somebody else. You don't have to touch them. I do because it's my own body, but it's whatever. You can hover your hand above it like this. And if you're laying down, it's a bit better to visualize this maybe, but because I do this when I'm in bed most of the time when I do it. But what you're going to do is, no matter how you're situated, you're going to see the source energy or whoever it is that has your back, right, is sending you a solid light whatever color you want it to be that is healing for you. Some people choose blue, some people choose white, some people choose gold, indigo, green, whatever. It does yellow, it doesn't matter. It's whatever feels good to you. And you're gonna see that light just like beam down, boom, real powerful and real thick and real solid and real legit. It's the best way I can put it. That light is gonna come down straight into your hand, and you're gonna send it from your hand. It just goes through like what do you call that? A funnel thing. A funnel, you know what I mean? It goes into your hand and it shoots straight into that spot that you need to fill. If it's a void, right? And you shoot that light straight in, and you let that light splash like liquid, and it splashes, and it just, like if you're pouring, like the way bleach looks when you pour it into a bucket or something like that, the way it's kind of thick when it pours and it splashes, it's like a slow splash. That's how I see it when I do it. You're going to do that, or however you want to see it, right? But this is how I do it. It splashes in there and it fills, that light just swoosh, and it splashes and it fills that hole. It just fills that void. So, like I say, you know, for depression or anything that's making, or grief, or anything that's making you feel empty like that, you can fill that void with that light that's shining in. And you do that for as long as you need to until you're satisfied with it. There's no rules on this. Nobody can tell you you're doing this shit wrong. There's people who will. There are, you know, Reiki masters who will tell you that you're doing it wrong. I don't know what their problem is. Don't listen to them. Please don't listen to them, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. There's no wrong way to heal yourself when you're doing simple shit like this. There are some people that might need different methods or might need a more thorough method, but there's no such thing as you know, having to be corrected by somebody else who knows better. You know what I mean? If it's working for you, fine. And you're the only one who's going to know that. So, as it's filling you up, you're going to see that light just wash in and fill that space and overflow it. If you want to see it overflow and splash out, you can do that as well. Just to really hammer home the concept that it's filling it in. You know what I mean? And you do that until you feel satisfied with it. And then you can seal it up however you want to do that. Pat it down like putty, whatever, however you want to do that, whatever is right for you. Just follow your intuition and trust yourself. Like I say, this is a real good trust exercise for yourself, because you're trusting your own intuition, you're trusting your own third eye to see shit that you're just feeling out for. You're just feeling it. You're just looking out for it. Once you're done with that, you keep going. Let's say you've been feeling anger or rage lately, or you've been feeling like you've been done wrong by somebody, or you just lost a job, or there's some betrayal, and you're feeling rage and anger. A lot of times the rage and anger will be right here. And when you get to that, let's say you get to that spot and you come up on your anger, and it's like a buzzing ball, like a little ball of electricity, or it might be, for example, a sludge ball. You know what I mean? For other people, it might be a rock that's just in there. It's just chilling in there. It's just a fucking rock. And like charcoal or something. And when you come to it, you're going to say, okay, there it is. And listen to yourself. Listen to yourself when you want to stop, or when you sense anything, listen. Because your subconscious mind and your third eye is trying desperately to get in touch with the rest of you so that you'll listen and pick up on shit. You feel it, stop. Let's say you get to your anger, and there's the rock. Okay, we'll go with that. What you need to do is blast that bitch into outer space. So you're going to have your light, whatever color it is you wanted it to be. If it's got a smell, if it's got a texture, you add that shit into. You do what you want with this. This is your circus, your show. You run it how you want, okay? But this is how I do it. Your light, and whatever your healing color is, let's go, you know, blue or something. Like this color blue, right? That light comes down right into your hand, boom. Right through your hand, boom. And it just goes into your body. And when it does this, this light is going to shatter the rock of anger. And it just goes, you know, and it just, you can hear the sound, right? Because we've seen it in movies so much. So it shatters. And I've had issues where it was so strong that it would shatter and come back together, and I would have to fight it and keep sending the light in there and keep going back and forth with it until it shattered and then gave up. And that's what it has to do. And if you shatter it any way you want to. If you want to shatter it and it falls into sand, or it falls into dust and the wind blows it away, falls into sand and the ocean pulls it away, it shatters and all the little rocks like go out as little meteorites in outer space and they never come back. However you want to do that, whatever feels right for you, you do that. It shatters, it's gone, and you shatter it 10 damn times if you need to. If you're laying there 10 minutes doing it, then do that. It's because it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So you shatter it, and then you've got that space in there. So you take your light's still moving, still beaming down, going through your hand, going right into you, right? And this color, whatever your healing color is going to fill that hole, and it's just going to overflow it, and it's going to pour in. And I might make that sound, I don't know. But it's going to just wash that space, wash it, and it splashes in and it fills. If you want to do yours more like honey or something like that, like a slow pour, then do that. If you want to see it coming down like little crystals, and the crystals pile up and they fill in and do it that way, you know, then do that. If it looks like those little, what are those things, jacks? When you play pickup jacks, whatever that is, those little things that look like stars, looks like that, throw those in. It doesn't matter. Like I say, this is your circus, you run it how you want. I'm just telling you how I do it. They wash in, they pour in, they pile in, they fill that space. And you do that as many times as you need to. If you want to start over and feel like you didn't do it good enough, then start over and do it again. There's no rules here. You're fixing yourself. So who's going to correct you? I'm not. So you fill that in, and you keep going, and you move all the way down your body. And it doesn't matter where the spot is, the hole, the tear, the void, the rock, the bundle of bad energy that's like buzzing, you know. Sometimes you'll get to a bundle of bad energy and it'll look like a Brillo pad, you know, or whatever. You'll see it in your mind. You'll be like, okay, that looks like such and such, and you'll be able to put a name to it eventually if you let it come to you, and especially if it's clear enough. But so you scan your whole body. And another thing I want to tell you is that a lot of people, this is coming to me right now, so I feel like I need to say this. There's a lot of people who have been through some really, really awful sexual traumas. And what I want to tell you is that the number one thing that gets in y'all's way with this stuff is the shame. It's the shame. The shame of what happened to you, and how could you let that happen, and you didn't deserve respect, so that's why that happened to you, or whatever it is that you're coming up with that your trauma is telling you is why it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's going to be a lot of brainwashing in there with shame, and which is not fair to you, but that's the shit that happens. So when let's say you've gotten some sexual trauma and you get down there and you start feeling like you want to deal with it, you could go past it if you wanted to. Well, you don't necessarily have to fix it or address it now, but I would highly suggest that you work on that, because healing is when you push yourself past your boundaries and you go into uncharted territory, because that's where the growth is, because that's where the learning is, and that's where the understanding is. And you understand yourself better if you can go into those uncharted territories and those scary spots and around those dark corners. Once you get in there and you show love to that part of yourself that's been hiding in the shadows, you'll have so much more clarity and freedom. And I have to tell my clients this all the time, because there's a lot of shit that's scary, because a lot of them, you know, with ex-narcissists, they did go through a sexual trauma. Of course they did. There's lots of narcissists who are like proud rapists and shit like that. Like, they're fucking awful. And I've had clients who had some awful, awful, awful stories. I've heard some of the worst, terrible things. Like, it's awful. And a lot of cleansing and a lot of understanding and compassion has to take place in order to sort that out. But it can be done. But like I say, like I've said in all my other videos, you do baby steps. You do it in baby steps if you need to. You know, you don't have to push yourself to like be some guru next week, just like Teal Swan or whatever, you know, after everything you've been through. It's not like that. You take baby steps with it. So let's say you've had the sexual trauma and you get down to, you know, your private parts, and you start feeling whatever it is you feel there. Tension, you feel rage, you feel utter sadness, you feel utter despair, hopelessness, you feel like you were used and discarded. You know, a lot of us have been there. And however that feeling looks for you, if it's a rock, if it's a bundle of negative energy buzzing, you know, like shaking or whatever, if it's a hole that goes on forever, like deep into the earth, if it looks like animals fighting, you know, different people are going to have different ways of envisioning what that looks like. So whatever it is for you, once you get to that spot, I want you to just very gently send. If the big beam of light thing is too overwhelming for you to try to visualize, like if you don't think you're there yet, you can do a pinpoint of light. Just do a little pinpoint for me. It doesn't have to be the big Reiki Master Usui Master Usui. If you can't do that, if you're not ready for that, and that seems like you're posing or whatever it is, because that's my issue. Fucking imposter syndrome is my struggle. So I sit here and talk all day long about this shit, and I still feel like, you know, I could be doing better. I guess I could in some way. I'll figure it out. But if that's too much, and you need to start small because it's too much to tackle, because it would be, you do a little pinpoint of light. I want you to see if you can do a little pinpoint of light for me. You make it skinny like that. Or a matter of fact, how about even this? Forgot this shit was sitting here. Let's say blue is your little healing light. And you do your hand, okay, because you're getting ready. You do a little pinpoint of light, just like you poke a hole in a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? Just a little. Matter of fact, let's do it like this. That. And you just do an itty bitty light. Just a little bit can make a difference. And you send that little pinpoint, and you just send it straight in there, just like I said before, through your hand and into that space. Wherever it is, right? I'm just saying for sexual trauma, that's why I did that. So you send your pinpoint in there, and you just let the pinpoint of light just kind of feel it out in there, and just see what it can see and see what it might be able to do, and let it do what it wants to do, and just kind of sit back and let it play out and let it happen and see what happens with it. If you get to a point where you feel like you can handle it and you can do a bigger beam of light, do a bigger one. You want to change the color? You think the color might matter if it's different? Then do that. Also, I suggest at the same time, what might help, especially if you're really overwhelmed, is to continue listening to the Hertz tones the whole time you're doing this method. I do it. It's amazing. The Hertz tones are fantastic. You pick one that is for whatever it is you want to do, because there's a million of them. And you play that as you're doing this, and that pinpoint is coming down with the tones playing, and it's bringing it in. It's just bringing it into you, and you just let it get in there, and you just let it do what it's got to do, and you build up to it. If you want to do that for a week, 2 weeks, whatever, like, just give yourself a few days. Don't put a limit on there or whatever, because there's no limits for shit like this. You do this how you want. But if you want to try it for at least a certain amount of time, you say at least for 1 week, I'm going to try this, just see what happens. You can't lose anything. Like, you know what I mean? You're not gambling here. It's just, you're just going to see what happens. If you're feeling rock bottom and you're feeling really, really bad about things, the only way you have to go is up. So think of it that way. And that's what I do. And that mindset has saved me time and time again. When I was rock bottom, I thought, well, I can't get any lower, so may as well turn around and go back up to the surface. And I have been there so many thousands of times I can't even tell you. So you let your pinpoint get in there and do its work. As you get comfortable with that, you let some time go by, however long, 5 minutes, 5 days, it doesn't matter. You start working on getting a bigger a bigger light. Do you know what I mean? And this doesn't have to just be for sexual trauma. If you want to use this for all your other spots or whatever, and you're not ready or whatever, you feel like you need to start beginner or something like that, then just do it that way. It's not even a big deal. Whatever you're ready for, you do what you're ready for, and then when you feel like you've gotten it down, you can move up to the next level. That's growth. So that's how I do that. And you go, and don't forget to go all the way down to your feet. And and it doesn't matter where your spot is or what it looks like, if it's a tear or if it's, you know, a hole that's been punched in, or a spot that's irritated like inflammation, or whatever it is that you're seeing in your mind's eye when you get to that spot. You treat it how you want to treat it, with the light shining in, and you just let it permeate, and you just let it take over, and you do that as often as you need to until you're satisfied with it, and then you can move on to the next one. And then afterwards, when you're done, if you want to test yourself and go and do the scan again just to see like how you did, you can do that as well. Just to see like if there's anything you missed or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, you can do your grounding however you do that. Of course, naturally, my favorite is the tree roots. So a lot of people have heard about that, and that's where I do it lying down. You can do it standing. You can lay down for the scan and then stand up on your feet to do the grounding if you want as well. And sometimes I've done it that way too. But your feet, or whichever part of your body is, you know, to the earth, you have your light coming down to you that fills you up completely after the scan. You know what I mean? And you do your spots. Once you finish the scan, your light comes down again, but it fills you up completely, and it just washes you. Just washes you. And then, and if you want to see it overflow, or if you want to see, and I do this sometimes too, the light comes in and it busts my shell or whatever, and like my physical body, like it'll shatter, you know what I'm like in my mind, and obviously not in real life, but the light will come in, shatter my shell, and it's like, and it's just fucking light everywhere. And I do that, and then as the light is going through me and goes out through my feet or wherever, it goes into the earth. And once it goes, as soon as it's under my feet in the earth, it's brown like tree roots. It's just brown. And everything's earth tones after that, right? Because that's where we're going. And the roots just, and you can like hear the roots. You know, sometimes on TV in movies when they have tree roots growing or plant roots growing, and they'll do a sound of like it moving through the dirt or whatever. Do that sound if you want to do that, or if you have your hertz tones playing, do that. But I like to do the sound. I can't do it with my mouth, but I do it in my head. So you do your tree roots, and your tree roots go down as far as you want them to. Doesn't matter. You want to have them go up 10,000 miles into the next planet, then do that. There's no rules for this kind of shit. This is your show. You run it how you want. And you do that, and you do your tree roots for as long as you need to really drop you down and pull yourself down. And especially if you have a womb space, you can do the womb space meditation where you drop your consciousness from your pineal gland, right, down to the womb space, and you chill in there in the waters of chaos, and you just float and let yourself be weightless. And let yourself just be, you know, without all the labels and all the identities and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? You're just a soul that's chilling in the waters, and that's it. And you just let it be like that for a little bit. And that, you know, is another way that I like to do it sometimes, especially if I need to feel weightless for whatever reason. That's just something I need for that day or whatever. So that's a way, you know, to help you get right, you know, and get your energy right, so that you're not bogged down by other people's bullshit that's intrusive or whatever, and anything that is bothering you or anything you're hanging on to, because people hang on to so much shit in their etheric fields. They don't realize that, you know, because we're not taught about this stuff and we're not educated on any of this, and our ancestors knew this shit, but, you know, we had to hang all that up because someone else took control. Not gonna say who, but anyway, you know, so we're having to really relearn a lot of shit that we used to know, and our ancestors are rooting for us and are supporting us all the way, because it's taken us so long to come back to this, and it's taken us so long to come home to this and figure ourselves out and figure out this energy shit. You know what I mean? So keep going with what you're doing. You know, stay on the path that feels right to you, and learn as much as you can, and get a feel for yourself and your own energy. Doing a body scan is an amazing way to get a feel for yourself and where you are, and you know what level you're on and shit like that. And you can see, if you want to try to see your colors, you can do that. I'll do another exercise for that sometime. But you know, there's a million things we can do. So I'm probably gonna be making videos for the rest of my life on this stuff. That's okay. So that's the body scans. I do have my clients do that stuff, especially the empathic ones. I get a lot of clients who aren't empaths and they're not interested in the magical, mystical shit. So we just go over the regular stuff, you know, quote unquote. But you know, for those of you who are into the metaphysical, you know, there's so much more that we can add to it, and I love that. So, because I'm ready to do it, and I've had to do all this shit for myself for so many years. When I was first pulling myself back together, after my last ex-narcissist, which was like 2018, I think was when I finally got away from him. That it was so much work to find myself and put myself back together, and to take care of myself energetically after that, not just no contact. People are always like, oh, how do you get rid of the narcissist? How do you get over it? Oh, no contact. Yeah, no contact. But there's other shit that needs to be done. So if you're interested in, you know, energy healing, there's a mountain of stuff we can go through to address that, and really and truly help you be whole again. And the body scan is just one of those many things we can do. So I hope that helped. You know, if y'all have any ideas for videos or whatever you want me to do, please message me or comment and let me know, and I'll be glad to put something together for you, you know, especially if it's something that I actually know about. You know, if I don't know about it, I'll try to read up or whatever, but you know, for the most part, I like to stick to stuff I do know. But if you have any ideas, you know, or questions, whatever, please get in touch with me. If you need me to do a topic on a video, please let me know. I'll be glad to do it. And that's it for this video. So I hope it helped, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.